Hey everyone, welcome back. Polestar cuts 10% of the workforce. What does this mean for the Polestar 3 and for the Polestar 4 car? This is a big thing right now. A lot of companies, especially tech companies and EV companies, they've been cutting the workforce a lot. A lot of people are losing jobs, and it's not a good thing for the economy. It's not good. Long term for the economy, it's not good. But these companies, they're doing it to save money. A lot of these companies are doing it to save money, especially a company like Polestar, who do want to save money. I understand the case in saving money. I don't understand the case in trying to pursue profitability in such an early stage within a company. But we'll try to understand as much as possible, because I've never known Polestar to cut this large of a workforce before. I think this is a first, especially since I've been publishing Polestar content. Now the EV industry is going through a difficult period with job cuts and lower production estimates. Polestar is forced to cut 10% of its employees, and the projected output has been revised to be between 60,000 vehicles and 70,000 vehicles. Additionally, the manufacturing of the Polestar 3 SUV and the Volvo EX90 are delayed due to software complexities. I've written several separate articles on these subjects. The first articles was obviously on the Q1 reports, and obviously Polestar cutting the guidance from 80,000 to 60 or 70,000. Second articles, cutting 10% of the workforce. And my third article was the release date delayed for the Polestar 3. 3 amazing articles so far, so I hope you enjoy all of them. Now, the Swedish company has attributed a postponement in production of their Polestar 3 model to difficulties being experienced by automotive businesses globally. According to Automotive News Europe, Polestar stated that approximately 300 positions would be eliminated and all hiring activities will be halted, completely stopped, temporarily of course. But this is an addition to 500 jobs that were originally scheduled to be filled this year. Perhaps that's something that you didn't know. So they've gone from looking to hire 500 additional people to actually halting all hiring and cutting their headcount by 10%. But for a moment, let's just enjoy this beautiful Polestar 3 image. Absolutely incredible. What an amazing car. Unfortunately, she is delayed. However, it's going to be wonderful when we finally get this car. When we finally get to experience this car, it will be really terrific. Oh, by the way, remember to subscribe to our newsletter. You can check out our website and sign up to our newsletter. It's on the homepage. There'll be a link in the description below. This is how you keep up with all of our articles. Now, forecast of output for 2023 has been reduced from 80,000 to 60 or 70,000. Last year, we saw 51,491 units being produced and shipped out to customers. Those were all Polestar 2 vehicles, by the way. This is Polestar's staple product at the moment. Now, manufacturing of the Polestar 3 was due to commence in the middle of this year. However, it has been postponed until the initial quarter of 2024. The cause for the deferral is attributed to Volvo's cars needing to carry out more software development and tests, according to Reuters. Now, the Swedish car maker, Volvo, majority owned by Geely, has announced a postponement of the EX90 as well. That's a Volvo EX90. It is essentially built upon the same platform. They're both built upon the same platform, the Polestar 3 and the EX90. So whatever happens to one, most likely happens to the next one. So complexities, they're very similar cars. Interior very similar as well. The exterior is completely different though. Given the fact that they're built on the same platform, the interior is almost identical. What do you prefer, the Polestar 3 or the EX90? Along with the Polestar 3, of course. Now, it was expected to arrive in showrooms early next year, but a spokesperson from the company has declined to comment on when it will be available. This is part of a wider trend amongst EV manufacturers such as Lucid and Fisker, who have reprised their production estimates. Now, worries of running out of capital have been a major concern for EV startups, where many companies have seen their earlier market valuations rapidly decrease with limited access to resources in an unstable climate. Now, Polestar stated that it's well equipped to sustain its operations up until 2023, after obtaining $1.6 billion investment from Volvo Cars and Geely Investment in November last year. That was brilliant, by the way. But now Polestar wants to be careful with this money. They know they can't spend it all at once. That's the last. And I'm guessing this probably mandated by Volvo and Geely, of course, because they're the parent company. That's understandable. Polestar is essentially a subsidiary. And as such, you get a budget and you got to stick to that budget. Now, Polestar did dedicate around $20 million to a huge campaign for this car in the United States. Now, I actually thought they could do a little bit better in terms of the amount they invested for that campaign. I think they can do a little bit better. But hear me out. If that's an expensive route for the Polestar 3, they need to find cheaper alternatives to promote this car along the US, to promote this car along Europe. Whichever markets Polestar are in, they need to find cheaper alternatives to promote these vehicles. If indeed they're looking to cut costs that much. I don't know, perhaps if anyone from Polestar is watching this and they want to hear my thoughts on how they could strategically manage their marketing, how they could strategically reduce the costs to marketing these vehicles. Listen, we're in a new age. Marketing has changed. We don't live in the age where you can just put up billboards and newspapers anymore with your advertisement. No one pays full attention to that. The game of advertisement is changing. And as such, Polestar needs to look at alternative motives, alternative avenues to invest, alternative ways to market these vehicles. Simply putting them on billboards, simply putting them in newspapers, they won't always get the job done. Honestly, sometimes that's a waste of money. You'd be better off using a fraction of that 20 million to hire out some YouTubers to use this car for various purposes, to promote the brand to a wider audience. Because the problem is your billboard, that will be taken down. Sorry, that was quite loud. Your billboards, posters will be taken down. Your videos on YouTube will be taken down once you stop paying for it. The advertisement in newspapers and across the internet in general, they'll be taken down once you stop paying for it. And once the newspaper isn't being sold anymore, once the magazine isn't being sold anymore, once the billboard comes down, Polestar needs to invest in new avenues and cheaper avenues of promoting their vehicles. I know that these vehicles are heavily reported by a lot of YouTubers, but I think they can do a little bit better. Because you see, once one of these videos are published, they're up there forever. You don't have to pay for it over and over again. The YouTuber keeps up the video forever. So it's forever bringing new customers to your brand. That's a far better way to spend money on advertisements, rather than spending money on advertisement that people will forget in 5 days. I'm just saying, is it time for Polestar to start thinking a little bit different? And don't be afraid to step out of their shell. At the same time, Polestar is a conservative brand, very conservative, and it'd be very hard to compete with brands such as Porsche. Porsche has had a racing heritage, and unless Polestar is willing to get back into the game of racing, it's going to be continually a lot more difficulties in terms of getting this brand out to more people. However, I do believe that if Polestar do choose to get into Formula One racing or some formula of racing, I think they could be very popular. They do have a racing heritage. Now they're building their own cars. It's time to get back into racing. Why not get back in? Why not participate in a Formula E event? In the Formula E competition. Polestar has had a history of tuning Volvo vehicles for racing. Why are Polestar vehicles not in the Formula E racing category? Seriously, that'd be brilliant. That's how Ferrari made their name. That's how Porsche made their name. That's how a lot of companies made their name. They start out as a racing brand sometimes, or sometimes they don't. But racing is a very important part to promoting your brand. And since Formula One has started their Netflix series about 3 years ago, the brand has exploded in popularity and the brand has grown in valuation. This is the time to hop on that train. There is no time for delay, seriously. What happens when Netflix creates a series for Formula E drivers? They're creating a series for tennis stars, similar to Formula One series. They're creating one for golfers, swimmers, all sorts. They will create one for Formula E as well. And I'm telling you, Polestar needs to get on this ASAP. This is not the first time I've spoken about this. I've spoken about this before. but no one seems to be listening. And the thing is that it shouldn't be very difficult to accomplish. I can see Polestar being in Formula E. I can see Volvo being in Formula One. Or if they wanted to do it together, I can see Polestar being in a Formula E team along with Volvo as a partner and along with Geely as the main sponsorer. I've spoken about this before, but no avail as of yet. But I'm not going to shut up about it. Now, Polestar retailers who've now faced heightened pressure due to the further delays have only one new EV to sell, the Polestar 2. The first model, the more expensive Polestar 1, can only be found on pre-owned markets. By the way, I'm really interested in a Polestar 1. Yep, those vehicles are really nice. But this is very interesting direction for Polestar to go to save money. Hopefully there's no more delay. Let's just hope there's no more delay, and let's just hope we can accomplish 70,000 vehicles delivered by the end of this year. That would be brilliant. But honestly, that is it for this video. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to see more. Leave a comment. And of course, I'll see you in our next video.